could have been superstars. Can't help it, now I'm reminiscing. Remember when we were jacking cars? Now you better keep your distance, cause it's not safe for you.
Welcome to the Hoop Dreamers podcast. I'm joined today by another very special guest. This is your regular host, Elijah Williams. This guy was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, a former all-conference player in both the ACC and the SEC. Very great player at Virginia Tech and the University of Florida, going into his third year, playing overseas, now located in Japan. Everybody welcome the big fella, Big K, Kerry Blackshear. KJ, welcome to the show, my boy.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation, bro.
Absolutely. Me too, man. And I think this conversation is extremely important. And the topic of this will be centered around always making sure, you're making the best decisions for yourself and not just the hype decisions. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of different brands and programs and leagues out there that can make themselves seem like they're the best thing for you and may seem like it's the best stage for you, but in reality, it comes down to them making money and not much more than that. And you've been somebody that has been exposed to a lot of different teams and leagues and this and that. And each step of your career, whether it's in going to college, in college, while you're in the transfer portal, and then now being somebody that has consistently gone back overseas, even as somebody who most people know could play in the NBA, but you're going for something that's more guaranteed, something that has more financial benefits and things like that. And we'll get more into that as we get into the episode, but definitely wanted to make sure that, that's something that, make sure we're on the same page and, where this conversation is going. So is that cool with you?
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. And like I said, bro, there's just a lot of distractions out there these days, right? And like I said, this conversation is centered around always making sure you're making the best move for yourself, putting the distractions aside and really honing in on exactly what your options are, doing your research, and then moving forward from there, right? And before we get into that, though, I want to start with the very beginning, right? Back to your childhood, before the professional career, before the all-conference college career, maybe even before your ESPN four-star rankings in high school, when you're just a kid growing up in Orlando and a little bit overseas while your dad was playing. I have to ask this question because it's a staple on this podcast, but throughout your childhood, what were your hoop dreams?
Shoot. Definitely, it's two people I really looked up to as a kid. My dad, obviously. Again, a lot of people don't get a chance to see their dad play. Don't get a chance to see their dad play professionally. Don't get to see their dad level up in their career. I got to be a part of that. I got to be a part of him playing in Venezuela all the way up to Spain. He started in Germany, actually. Started Germany, went to Venezuela and Spain. So I got a chance to see the world at an early age. And I got a chance to see, my dad came from humble beginnings. So I got a chance to see he changed his life just through a basketball. So that I've always looked up to that. And then obviously, I'm a big Kobe guy. Anybody who knows me, Kobe Bryant fan. I'm tatted, got a whole bunch of Kobe shoes, shirts, sweaters, jersey, all that. I'm a big Kobe guy. Just from a mental standpoint, talent standpoint, he's somebody that even though I don't play exactly like him, it's I try to piece different parts of my game. Those two people that inspired me early on with this game.
And where'd you, and then once you got that inspiration, where'd you see yourself going with the game, or where'd you want to eventually end up with the game?
Definitely as a kid, like you see the league, like you want to be in the league, be an NBA player. It is probably some of the things is like achieving that dream. It's bigger than the money at that point. Like obviously, like you care about being like it's cool to be famous, have money, like be able to like do what you want, help your family out, buy your mom what she wants, stuff like that, all those things. But I think it's just saying like I'm one of the best players in the world. Like being able to say that, like it's every kid's dream, like being on a video game. Like
Yeah.
loved NBA Live, NBA
Yeah.
2K.
Yeah.
To be on a video game. So
I
every kid's dream.
feel you. And you know, you ended up growing up, got into high school. By the time you got through your senior year, you were a 4-star prospect on ESPN. How many different offers did you have coming out of high school, and how did you think committing to Coach Buzz Williams at Virginia Tech was going to help you achieve those hoop dreams that you just talked about, and you know, get into the NBA and being on 2K?
I honestly like don't remember how many offers I had. I had a good amount. Kind of like started. What was my first offer? Kennesaw State. Got that offer sophomore year, and like just continue like to be blessed and like have like a lot of schools like seek me out and feel like I would be a good fit for their team. Ultimately, obviously, I chose to go play for Buzz Williams at Virginia Tech. The lead recruiter for me was Steve Rockefeller. He was at USF for a few years. Had been recruiting me since I was a sophomore in high school. Had a good relationship with him. He introduced me to Buzz. I just loved the way, like when I got on campus, I got a chance to see like this guy's different. This program is different. Although everybody in the world couldn't see it at that point, like I felt like they had a group of guys. They were building a culture that like it was going to change what that program was. And not to say like there haven't been like some great players that came from Virginia Tech. Just being able to have a level of consistency, like okay, this is like what this the raise the level of expectation from that program. I felt like that was what the group was brought in to do, and I think we did a good job of that ultimately.
Y'all absolutely did. I mean, y'all came in there and put some really, really good teams together. I mean, even I know you went to the NCAA tournament each year while you were there, but even in one of those years, y'all ended up in the Sweet 16. And your second and third year, at least your second year, you're definitely one of the best players. Your third year at Virginia Tech, you were definitely the best player. And you from being working in that conference at that time, I can tell you right now, you were at the top of everybody's scouting reports, and you were one of the best players in the conference, and one of the most talked about players in the entire country, right? And coming into Virginia Tech, I think with you not being one of those big name guys, people didn't really know, what to expect. Nobody saw it coming. Like you said, people didn't know what was being formed at Virginia Tech, but y'all always knew. You bought into the culture that Coach Buzz Williams was building, and everything definitely worked out, at least the way that you even expected coming in, right? So your second and third season, your sophomore and junior season, you're an all conference player. I mean, you're having some big nights on big stages against big programs. At what point did you start to think like, yo, my dream of becoming an NBA player is now more realistic than ever? What was going through your mind at that point in time, and when did it really hit you?
Like for me personally, like I'm like a quiet dude. I'm laid back. Like I think soon as I played like my first college game, soon as I like got a chance to like play some like bigger teams, I'm like as a freshman, like 18, like you're just happy to be able to be on the floor, help your team win in whatever way, in whatever capacity you can. Cause like once you like had that first practice, you're like, oh, this is real. Like everybody's like big, strong.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's 23 years old, like whatever. And I'm like
Mm-hmm.
just 18. So it's like different.
Mm-hmm.
So mental gap, there's a physical gap, there's an experience gap. But like once you like practice consistently, play your first game, play your first conference game, play your first road game, those are big
Mm-hmm.
time. Um, you start to see like, okay, this guy's projected to be like this round. I matched him tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's supposed to be a McDonald's All-American. Like I'll play him. So like he's just like it's like a quiet confidence that you're building within yourself. Like just from how you working every day, how like okay, like if they think this about him, like wait till I get my chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought, like I was good. Never wanted to be arrogant because I felt like I can learn from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I knew like it was like great players. Like that was maybe the focal point of our team. Like early on, like we had Seth Allen, we had Zach Leday, like really good guys. Wings, like loaded wings, like a lot of wings. Everybody shot over 40%. So it's like, how can
Yeah.
you not have the ball?
Yeah.
Got a guard and Justin Robinson on my team. Got a top 40 player and Chris Clark on my team. Then like that's when you get into Nikhil. Like he comes in top 15, top 20 player in the country. So it's like I'm definitely surrounded by talent. Then finally when my opportunity came, I took advantage because I was always like, I always expected that from me.
Absolutely. And like I said, bro, had some really big games, especially your third season. It was your fourth year at the school, but freshman year you were out with injury. So that third season was definitely your breakout year. And you started to see your name at least towards the second round of the NBA draft in some boards. So after that season, you had just graduated from Virginia Tech. It was
Yeah.
time for you to make the biggest decision of your life at that point. And, testing the waters, going out, seeing what these NBA scouts are saying about you, giving them a chance to really see you up close and evaluate you, while also, having a chance to get another year in college, right? You ended up withdrawing from the draft and committing to UF, right? But there are a lot of pieces within that process that I really want you to kind of dive into. One being, what were the scouts telling you at that point in time that made you ultimately want to withdraw, even after, having a really good all conference season in college? Because the ACC was the best conference in basketball at the college level at that point in time. And for you to be at the top of the charts in that conference is huge, right? And, your performance backed it up every single night. So what were the scouts telling you that made you want to come back? And then another decision that I want you to talk about is that college decision going to UF, right? As soon as you entered the transfer portal, once you came back, you probably heard from just about every college in the country. I mean, I'm sure your phone was blowing up, and it really came down to two schools, right? Kentucky and UF, correct? And
Yeah.
I want you, I want you to talk about, withdrawing from the draft and then passing up on playing for a blue blood. Because both of those decisions were, like I said, the main point of this episode, in truly making decisions that are best for yourself, right? Not listening to what the outside crowd might be saying, not listening to what the internet may be saying about you, right? You as somebody who's in your own shoes, could you talk about what your mindset was in that process, in reflection to what you're hearing from the coaches and scouts?
So like to like give you a little bit of more like background on it. Like after that season we played Duke in Sweet 16, like high horse, like this is like one of the like best historic seasons that Virginia Tech had ever had to that point. So it's like definitely like a lot of opportunity with that. Especially like with my name on draft boards, like you said. So at that point in time, my coach also was leaving. Like that like threw a monkey wrench into it. So it was like, okay, I had the opportunity to go test the waters for up to a certain date. And then I had to either like say I'm coming back or like into the draft completely at that point. But also I was in the transfer portal at the same time, like you said, because my coach was leaving. I just wanted to see what else was out there. So I was kind of like facing like two fronts at one time. I kind of, for that time period before the deadline to return or go pro, I kind of tried to focus more on the NBA side of it. I got a chance to stay in a penthouse for a while down in Miami, train every day, like train with pros, train with NBA guys, train with guys who play overseas, train with guys who have been in G League, train with other guys who were like draft prospects. Real good time, real good experience. Got a chance to go like meet with a few teams. And a lot of teams like really liked my game, liked who I was as a person, liked go through these different tests, liked where my IQ was for the game. It was just more so my shortcoming has always been like athleticism. Like at NBA, like these guys are freak athletes, 7 foot, 40-inch vertical, run like gazelles, lean bodies. So it's like it's those things. And then I also had like a foot injury. That was like a big asterisk that a lot of teams ask questions about, like kind of walk a little bit different, play a little bit different. But it's something that I had adjusted to. Like you said, I had set out. I had the red shirt 1 year because of injury. Came back, just played with it, and like this, something I've overcome since. So like that was where the things that they were telling me. Go back, continue to build your body, just build on like being able to guard laterally. So that was one of the things I focused on. Really keying in on my diet, really keying in on like how training, sleeping habits, all those things. And I was able to like play at like the lowest weight I had played in college, even like lower than what I played in as a freshman. My last year at Florida. So that was, I had some really good people who helped me with that, like with the nutritionist, strength coach, our team doctors, trainers. So like those people all helped me. That was like, and then that transitioned into the next thing. Yeah. I mean, school. Like you said, I had like virtually everybody calling me, like calling my dad throughout my process. Like my dad would call me, be like, dude, you got to make a decision. Came down to Kentucky was definitely in the mix. I've been fortunate throughout my life to have some like key pillars that understand the game, understand me as a person, and always looking out for my best interests, but also tell me like what's real. I ended up choosing Florida, obviously, because I just felt like I liked the group. I liked the unit that they already had, being that they had some veteran guys, older guys, and then they also had like a strong young core of guys who like are NBA level guys like Andrew Nembhard, Keontae Johnson, Noah Locke, guys that had already been in the mix heavily as a freshman. Then you add in guys like Scotty Lewis, Trey Mann, who are coming in as freshmen. Then you're thinking like, okay, this is a good opportunity. I can come in somewhat of a leadership position already. Strong core of guys that like also want to win. Also, like I want to get to a higher level too. Coaching staff believing in me, close to home. This was my dream school as a kid. It's like all these things aligned at the perfect time for me in my mind. And definitely it was hard saying no to Kentucky, hard saying no to Kansas, hard saying no to like all these different places, hard saying no to going back to Virginia Tech, hard saying no to my coach, Tennessee. Like these are all schools that was in the mix for me. And I thought a change of scenery would be good for me because like it was like a growth opportunity for me. Like, can I go somewhere else and be successful? Can I go somewhere else and challenge myself to do something that I hadn't done to that point yet? Unfortunately, the season got cut short, so we never saw like the end goal of it, but definitely was a growing opportunity for me. And like, just I think having those people in my life to help me make the decision, decipher what I thought was important in making that decision.
And at that point in time, could you just talk about, talk directly to the young hoopers trying to find their way that are tuning into this about the importance of having those people by your side that are going to truly have your best interests in mind, right? I know, I mean, for me, I do have your best interest, but I know I was one of those people who called you and said, yo, the Lakers need you. This team needs you. I wanted to see you in the league. I wanted to
Yeah.
see you at a blue blood. I wanted to see you on the big stage. But
Mhm.
you had other people telling you, hey, this is the way to go. You know what I'm saying? And you always kept a tight circle, right? You always kept a tight circle, always remain loyal to the people who remain loyal to you.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, your decisions, like I've been saying throughout this episode, always truly come down to what you feel is best. And you don't just base it off of the brands, the names, the leagues. You base it off of what you're hearing from the scouts. Could you talk about the
Mhm.
importance of the people around you and how that really hone in on how that really helped you, stay the course when it comes to always making the best decisions?
I just think I just got blessed with being around real people and like me just deciding like those are the people that like I most like I had the most in common with. Like I like someone who can like definitely like tell me like you're wrong, Kay. Like you're tripping on this situation, Kay. Or like my mom, my worst critic, like yelling, like like getting kicked out. Her, her Kay's dad, like out of games. Tell me like you played like a sucker today. Like like that was embarrassing. Like I know I raised you better than that. Like having that and then having the dad that's gonna like hold you accountable to everything you do, whether it's schoolwork, basketball, whether it's like doing like chores, all that type of stuff. So those are like the foundation of who I got raised by. So it's like always been obsessed with like keeping those types of people and like carrying their opinions to mean the most to me. Like like you can listen to all the noise, like all the things that you see on Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that. Like it doesn't phase you because it's like the people that you're closest to are your worst critic. Like those are the voices that you hear. So it's like it made it easy for me to like lean on them when I was like really uncertain because it's like a lot of options coming very fast. I had to change mindsets from going like, do I want to go pro or stay in school? To okay, now where am I going? And
Mm-hmm.
50 like of the best schools in the country are like trying to like get me. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like you got to think on all those factors, but it's like you got a strong foundation, like nothing, like, you can make any decision. Um, Encouraged me to trust myself, and they just gave me some like real advice on all these things. Made it easy.
Absolutely. And you ended up making, the decision that you wanted to make and
Mm-hmm.
going to the University of Florida. And what's crazy is, that team came in with a really good recruiting class that season. Coach Mike White put together a really good group. And as soon as you committed in that preseason, they were suddenly ranked in the top 10. So so your movement was going to shift the projections of college basketball that season. I mean, you really, and then in that same off season, ESPN and Dick Vitale had you as a preseason first team All American, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had suddenly had these extremely high expectations of you. But I mean, you had proven that you were truly one of the best players in the country at that point in time, right? And like you said, the season ended up being cut short, so you weren't able to see the end result. But you still, the season wasn't as good as y'all thought it was gonna be, but it was still really good. And y'all still had some big games and big performances, especially you as an individual, finishing as an all conference player, right? Finishing as an all conference player in two of the best three conferences in college basketball is pretty unheard of. And that's something that you went in there and did, right? After that season at UF got cut short due to COVID, I'm back on the phone with KJ, like, yo, the Magic needs you. This like people wanted to see you in the league, right? And coming as a projected first team All American, it's hard to not think that you're gonna end up in the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Season got cut short, and then you ended up deciding to play overseas, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of happened during that process in the off season when you're hearing back from scouts and coaches in the NBA yet again, and what made you end up deciding to go play overseas that first year being in Israel?
Shoot, like the year I came out again, like a weird year for me. This was the pandemic year, so going to work out for teams was different. A lot of like interviewing with teams was like through Zoom, just like having like 2-3 Zooms a day with different teams, like speaking with them, like sometimes a couple of times with each team. So it was different, different experience. A lot of people like didn't have gyms to go to, so it's like it was up in the air of what was going to happen. Like even how the NBA season was going to be renewed, bubble and stuff, all those things. When the season was going to start, if there was going to be a G League, there was all these questions in the air. So a lot of people was like, "Hey, like, what am I going to do?" For me, I decided to like just start my career and go play in Israel. Like you said, came into the season with a lot of projections, um, a lot more expectations than I had from the outside world before. I had like the season I did at Virginia Tech, and for me, I felt like I had short sold myself a little bit that year. So I wanted to take a year, go back and prove myself, improve in a new environment, and take advantage of like something I was certain, because like who knows, I didn't want to be the guy like that was like sitting around waiting for the NBA and like that didn't start. And it was a great space for me, a great opportunity. I spoke with my agent, leaned on my family, and they said, if you believe in this situation, take it. NBA is going to still be there, still have opportunities to play in NBA. So I took it. Being that my dad played overseas, I never had a negative connotation of like playing overseas.
Yeah.
See the world, make good money, play the game you love, just get a different lens on basketball over there. And I think it turned out to like lead to a great start to my career.
Absolutely. And speaking of the NBA always being there, you're going into your third season overseas. After that first season, you played. You had a really good first year overseas in Israel, and I like all season after off season, you're definitely having plenty of chances to come back to the U.S. At least get a summer league training camp spot and fight your way into the NBA. You know what I'm saying? But like you just kind of spoke about a little bit, the finance, the difference in the financial situation, the living situation, the cultural situation. People don't realize all the benefits that come with playing overseas. And I think you've come to realize that firsthand. And that's why you've continued to go overseas rather than trying to stick your way through the bottom of the NBA, through the bottom of the NBA, right? Could you talk about, what your mindset is off season after off season? As I'm sure, like you said, you could easily push your way in, right? You got the resume behind you, you got the names behind you, right? It's just, you end up deciding to again make the best move for yourself.
I think it's just like knowing you, knowing what you value. I understand like playing in the league is like a dream for anybody. Like if you can do it, do it. If it's right in front of you. For me, it was more so like I wanted to pay a path that like benefited me and like just me, not like pay attention to what other people thought, or like I get a chance to play basketball, live overseas in a free apartment, nice apartment, get to view new cities, new cultures, new foods, new music. Shoot, I'm in Japan. We drive on a different side of the road, like just
Yeah.
a different world that like a lot of people just aren't exposed to, and like I get a chance to embrace all of that. I get a chance to just like live out my dream just in a different way.
Yeah.
Really. And I think everybody's opportunities are different. Do I think that I will have a good shot at like making a league? Yeah, I do. But a lot of the things that I found important, a lot of the things that like were important for my growth, like I got a chance to do overseas, and I'm like, I feel like I found my niche. Definitely on upward trajectory over here, and I like make my family proud first and foremost.
Yeah.
So I've definitely embraced the fact that like I get to do something I want to do over here. I think each young player should like think about what they truly want for them, and if it's the NBA and like it's only that, then do that. But also like recognize that there's other opportunities to make your dreams come true, make your family's dreams come true, and it's a big world out here. So like, try something different if the opportunity.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's big. You know, really doing things that's best for you, right? Because I mean, we spoke about it before. I mean, with this NIL stuff, I mean, you can be a millionaire in middle school if you want to now, right? I mean, there's just a lot of distractions, especially with the regulations right now, pretty much being non-existent. You know what I'm saying? You can make money in any kind of way. You can be used in any kind of way as well. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like nowadays with social media and all these things coming up, there are many more ways to be used than ever before, right?
Absolutely.
Could you talk about, you know, we can kind of wrap it up with this, but in your last words, could you talk about, you know, at least speak directly to them, to these kids coming up, looking for ways to, you know, get an early start with their decision making, right? They want to make money at an early age. They want to go ahead and start going to the best schools, play for the best AAU teams. They want to go ahead and start setting themselves up for a future with the game, right? Could you talk about, you know, what their mindset should be as a whole when approaching these situations, you know, taking the evaluations that they receive seriously and really keeping the best group of people possible around them?
I think with like so much coming at these kids, honestly, and like people in general, I think it's important to understand what you value, not what other people's values, not to be persuaded by like the shiniest thing that's in front of you, not always going for what seems like the easiest route is, but like what you value, what fits you. Everybody's path is different. Everybody's tendencies are different. And I think understanding you is the best way to make all of these decisions. I think like just even a small tip that like a lot of kids can like do prior to these evaluations, like write down, like jot down, like what do you think is important? Rank like what do you think is important? Like what should these like organizations, what should these colleges be saying? What should these companies that like want to sponsor you, sign you? What should these social media outlets do for you? Tally what you think is important. Like, will I choose a school based on location? Okay, tally that like that, and like rank that in like level of importance, or is play style important? Is the amount of money I can make right away important? Is the amount of followers I'm going to get important? Like, it's different lenses that you can look at it, but like truly evaluate yourself. Truly evaluate like what's going to get you to where you want to be at the end of the day. Like, what are your goals? How like what is going to get you to there? And if you can like do that, I think it makes the process a lot easier. Having people around you to help you make these decisions, like true people that are true for you, like not someone that just like is a take person, but some people that invest in you like all the time, and like there's a genuine relationship. You got those things, and like no matter what you do, you're gonna make the right decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Hey, those words are invaluable, man. And hearing that from a pro that could really do whatever he wants at this point. You can go to the league. You can play overseas, and I know you live in lavish overseas right now, and I know you're enjoying it. And like I said, bro, it comes down to you making the best move for you, right? That's the kind of lessons that we're teaching in this episode. That's the kind of word that you've been preaching, and a lot of people will be able to benefit from this at all levels, right? Whether they're first picking up a basketball, deciding to go to a college, or deciding whether or not to go to the league or go overseas. So the audience definitely appreciates the words that you said. I definitely appreciate you for hopping on. Hopefully we can get you on at another point. But yeah, we'll let you go ahead and get ready for this season. I know things again started up soon. Good luck with that. And thank you again for joining, bro.
Appreciate you for having me in this podcast. What's up, baby?
Yes, sir.
Super Grammy.